Schmidt here, and I'm back with a new trading video. So today I have something very special that I've been working on, developing, coding, and programming. It's the Expert Advisor, the Forex Trading Expert Advisor, working on with AI, artificial intelligence, to come up with trade recommendations for me, and I've called it the Nexus Institutional EA. So what you're looking at here is the dashboard of the advisor, the expert advisor, the Forex advisor here. And I'm going to go through some of the key features. Okay, so what we have here is the expert advisor trades several currency assets, including Euro, US dollar, Great British Pound, US dollar, Japanese yen. If you look to the left here, Aussie dollar, US dollar, Canadian dollar, US dollar, Swiss franc, Great British Pound, Japanese yen, New Zealand dollar, US dollar, and spot gold here, XAU, US dollar. All right. I've specifically picked these particular currency pairs, but I'll get into that in a little bit later, why I chose these pairs. There's a reasoning behind it. Okay, so what is Nexus about? The Nexus Expert Advisor about? Okay, so as a retail trader, we've been taught to trade a specific way, and that's things like stop losses, trends, uh, and so what happens here is that the big liquidity providers and the banks, they know where we're setting our stop losses. They know what we're thinking before we're thinking, and that they treat retail traders as their exit liquidity for their trades. So what I've developed here is a expert engine that trades along with these liquidity providers, the banks, the hedge funds. And it's based on the concept of smart money concepts. But it's not just smart money concepts. I've also integrated volume profile and on balance volume logic into the engine here, which I don't believe there's any other expert advisor that does this. This is something that I've been working on for a very long time. I have 14 years of experience in trading, and I've put together this trading engine uh, very meticulously and strategically. Okay, so the Nexus Institutional Framework here, it talks about how, us as retail traders are taught to look for certain patterns, like I mentioned, stop losses, take profit targets, different uh, strategies. And the problem is 90 to 90% of traders, Forex traders out there, trade with the same strategies. And the banks know this. But I've created an EA that flips the script here with my proprietary smart money concept plus framework, which also integrates advanced volumetric analysis here. Okay, so the core logic that went into the EA is here described. We have higher time frame market structure. We have a Judas swing detection feature, on balance volumetric trend, point of control, volume profile, which identifies institutional equilibrium. Uh, there's a kill zone algorithm here built in, and a noose protection feature that I've also built into the app. All right, but before we even get into that, the engine derives its price feed from the deriv WebSocket layer. It runs on the cloud, so there's very little latency in the price feed. You know, we're talking milliseconds. And I have a a latency feature also built in to the engine here. Now, in order to run the engine, you need to have a Gemini API key here, and you'd have for it to run the sentiment analysis and come up with the trade recommendations on all the currency assets that I just described. You need to get an API key, and I've already included a tutorial on how to generate a Gemini API key here. We just click on this link here, and it takes you to my YouTube video where I go step by step and discuss how the Gemini API key. Okay, Gushman here. I'm not going to get into that. It's a very simple process. I have the tutorial built into the app here. Right, so once you enter your API key, you save it, and it's saved in your browser. All right, it's saved in your individual browser. No one can see it. It sits in your browser safely. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the strategy here. So this is the basic framework I just talked about. It works primarily during the London and New York session, the London and the New York overlap here, because that's when there's the most liquidity and most of the trading occurs. So we want to use this engine when there's the highest liquidity. There's a capital protection feature that I've also built into the engine, and I've uh, programmed the engine to find trades that resolve within a few hours. We don't want to sit and open trades for lots of hours or many days. There's some swing traders that'll sit on a trade for days. This is not what the engine is about. This engine is about getting in, taking the trade, and getting out within the day, or within a few hours, 3 to maybe 5 hours tops. Okay. So I have the dashboard here. So if we get a little bit deeper into the strategy here, like I mentioned before, there are 5 core implementation strategies that I've built in, which I mentioned before, the high time frame alignment here. We want to align the 4-hour and the 15-minute setup. They must be in alignment before a trade is even considered. There's the market structure shift here, which comprises the liquidity sweep that occurs a lot of the time. Basically a fake out that the big institutions set up retail traders for take them out of their take them out of their liquidity. There are fair value gaps that have to be taken into account as well. The Judas swing manipulation I mentioned before here. And most importantly is there has to be volume confluence here. And this is the special feature that I've added that takes into account volume profile and on balance volume. So the engine looks for not only price fluctuations, but it's looking for the delta in the volume. We want to make sure that the direction that the trade is going in has actual meat behind it, has depth behind it. So this is an extra confluence here that I've added. So that's why I call it the smart money concept plus uh, strategy here. All right, now as far as the currency assets that I've implemented into the EA here, it trades, of course, the euro US dollar, which is the most heavily traded currency pair. It has the highest liquidity, tightest spreads, and it's the most predictable institutional flow during the London New York overlap. Then we have the Great British Pound, US dollar, high volatility, excellent for catching 50 to 100 pip moves within the 3-hour window that I talked about. The US dollar JPY has the cleanest technicals, often mirrors the US Treasury yields, providing a macro institutional edge. We have the Aussie dollar, US dollar, which primarily for those that trade the Asia session, I've included that here. Asian session liquidity sweeps and SMT divergence analysis against the Euro US dollar. Then we have the US Canadian dollar, which is the king of the New York session. Gold, of course. This is an incredible gold advisor. I've done some trades on my plus 500 account trading spot gold. Works tremendously well. The US dollar Swiss franc, which is the safe haven major. Incredible respect for daily and 4-hour breaker blocks and institutional mitigation. Then we have the Great British Pound, Japanese dollar, which I know a lot of people love to trade. There's extreme volatility, and the institutional algorithms often run nice pip expansions. Then we have the New Zealand dollar, US dollar, which is also for those Asian traders. I know Asian traders love to trade this asset. Uh, it works very well with this particular asset, surgical precision, Asian kill zones, and London open liquidity hunts. So these are some of the factors that went into why I chose these particular assets to trade. Okay. Uh, so we have the institutional blueprint I just talked about, Judas swing, fair value gaps, volume confluence. This is extremely important here. Market structure shift and higher time frame trend confluence. Okay, so let's go into the best practices section here. And so I have here a category here that helps you to figure out when is the best time to trade here. And it explains to you the sessions that this EA works best on. It works on the London kill zone, which is 2 to 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or 7 to 10 Universal Time. Then it also works well during the New York kill zone. It's one of the areas which anywhere from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then there's the silver bullet window. If anybody knows Forex trading, that's after everything when the market is open and everything is kind of stabilized. This is actually one of the best times to look for trades. And this occurs anywhere from 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 14 to 15 Universal Time. All right. Then I've also included a mandatory validation engine into the advisor here, and I'll go into that in a second here, where even after we have all of the confluences set, we want to also check the probability engine that I've built into the app here. The score 6 to 8 is low probability. Any score 8.5 to 10 is a high probability trade. A lot of data and a lot of science went into this engine. Okay. So I've also built in an institutional pre-flight checklist, which basically all the checklists have to be checked off in order for you to take the trade. All right. And I'll show that in the dashboard. Basically, you check the header at the top here, and it'll display an emerald green color, which tells you it's a go. You know, we have the kill zone and the timing is optimal for a trade. You want to avoid the off-peak hours. So when that emerald green light is not there, you want to avoid taking trades. It also gives you a news awareness feature. If there's some kind of high impact news occurring, which usually occurs in the mornings, like from anywhere from 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard to 10 o'clock. You want to avoid when there's any sort of high impact news. Um, all right. So yeah, the dashboard will show emerald green during the specific New York time windows, signaling the optimal time for institutional trade discovery. Okay. So, like I said, if you click on the top right, like I mentioned before, it won't work without the API key, which is very easy to generate. All you need is a Google Gemini or Google AI Studio account, and the tutorial that I've created explains that step by step. All right, so let's go to the dashboard here, which is the nuts and bolts uh, of the Expert Advisor here. So I've integrated the trading view charts into the engine here, as you can see. Then all you'd simply do is just click on the particular currency pair and it'll load up the chart here. And then what we do is usually it's already synced up to the price here of the chart. What you're going to look for is what the price of the current price of the asset is, and make sure it's synced up. The prices are synced up together. 33531, which this is pretty close. And then once you know the prices are synced, or you verify that the prices are synced, you just run the analysis here. You just click this button. But being that it's the weekend and I don't have the Gemini key, my key programmed into it, it's not going to generate anything. I just wanted to sort of explain the general features. And in a future video, I'm going to actually run the engine, take the trades on my Forex trading account, and explain, the strategy and the expert advisor in action here. Okay, now this is it has sort of a risk management feature. It tells you to take, basically you want to risk about 1% of your capital risk per trade here. The engine is specifically geared for a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio here. We want to get the highest returns in the shortest period of time, like I mentioned, in that within that 3 to 5 hour window. This is not a swing trading app. This is not a scalping app. This is basically a day trading app, right? 1-to-2 risk reward. And here's the probability engine here that I talked about. When the market is open, these numbers will vary, and you sort of, okay, so being that I think it's on the Great British Pound US dollar, you'd set the EA to, okay, if we click on Euro US dollar, right? You go down to the probability engine. You'd run the analysis. If it tells you, if it recommends a trade, a high probability trade, you just go here and check the valid probability validation engine. Make sure it's running, you know, at a high probability number here, a score, and then you would take the trade basically here. This is the latency feature I talked about here. Currently, it's okay. It says it's connected. The WebSocket latency is negligible. There may be a number here, being that it's the weekend. The connection, I think the connection is still there as far as for the cryptos, but this app doesn't trade any cryptos. It just trades gold, and as well as those currency assets that I mentioned here. And then what you would see here, once you set a particular asset, like we have it on Euro US dollar here, we check the latency, the data latency meter, make sure the data is running correctly from the price feed, the WebSocket price feed, to the trading engine here. Look at the high probability engine, make sure everything is in alignment. And then we also have here the institutional execution feed. Everything It's part of the pre-flight checklist right here, where all of these, as long as all of these boxes are checked off, we run the analysis. Make sure first we would make sure all the boxes are checked off. The higher time frame alignment is there. The Judas swing has been completed. The kill zone is active, and that there's no high impact news. All of these buttons are checked off. Then you run the analysis here, and depending on the particular asset, it may not. I mean, this is a very specific EA. It doesn't just take trades like that. It looks for really great trades to take. You may not get more than 2 or 3 trades a week, but those are going to be the best trades that this engine finds for you. You may find more, you may find less, but as a experienced Forex trader, any experienced Forex trader knows that the best trades they don't occur every day or every few hours. They occur, maybe 3 to 4 times a week, tops, all right, during regular market hours. Okay, so let's see here. I think I went through the best practices here. I also have a sales page that talks about it also, about the EA here. If you're interested in getting some additional information as to, some of the logic that went into it, the rationale behind why I created this expert engine here, Expert Advisor. I'll have all the information in the video comments or in the video description or the channel bio, so you can look more into the EA here. This, like I mentioned, this is the dashboard. Currently, the market is closed. The WebSocket is still connected, though. It's very important that we have a WebSocket that gets us the price feed, a stable price feed, low latency. This works on the cloud, so there's very little latency. There's nothing to download. It works, like I mentioned, on the cloud. So I think if we go to the strategy here, yeah, I talked about how the strategy was built into the EA here, right? And then we have our, usual legal disclaimers for the app. Trading Forex is considered risky and not suitable for all investors. There's also an AI analysis disclaimer here. There's a terms of service here. This is a general use license. When you buy the EA, this is not considered financial advice, and there's a limitation of liability. All the disclaimers that you would normally see in any EA here. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Gus Schmidt.